Just look at here. Hey. Good morning. On time, on schedule. It's going to be lines and dots today. Where am I? Lines and dots. Not so interesting, I guess. Whatever. Gotta get through this. We finally hit the man himself, the main octopus body. This is a relief cut, of course, so that when I go down this line, I won't stress it. It's a bit quiet. Oh, yes. I forgot to put my microphone on. Details. You know, it's a good thing I'm not a pilot. Because my plane would be crashing half of every takeoff. Okay, mic is now on. Sorry about that. Thank you for reminding me. Oops, a bit too fat there. Come on, slice it back. Usual good mornings. Thank you, everybody. It's become a regular gathering place, has it? I think yesterday's stream, I know I haven't been actually following the statistics. Twitch gives me, a stats page. I don't know how accurate it is and what it really shows, but yesterday's viewer total was more than ever before, and I think it's because a few people have started to, I don't know the term, cross-post, not cross-post, I don't know. I forget the term. There's a Twitch thing where somebody with one channel can put this information on their own channel. And a few people were doing that yesterday, so I guess we got a bunch of strangers who were watching another channel suddenly dropped into this. And they must have been like thinking, what's this? Where am I? Hosting. So somebody hosted it. As you can see, it's going to be dots and dots today still. The interesting thing about what we're doing now on this Twitch thing, I know up to now we've been making prints, and every now and then we do a YouTube video which shows basically highlights, But up to now, fans and people who watch our work have never really been able to have a sense of how long these things take, what's involved in making them. And because of these streams now, I mean, there's some people here actually who've been checking in almost every day. And I'm sure some of them are thinking, what, that's all that's happening? That's all that's happening? When is something going to happen? That's our job. It takes a long time to make these things. And this is neat that people are getting a real sense of that now, I think. Good cooking takes time. Bad cooking takes time too, but let's not think about that. Our joke here is that we're the slowest printing company in Tokyo, but the one that makes the most beautiful output. How should I go about this? I've got a wide area to clear here, but there's dots near it. Let's isolate these dots and then get a bigger chisel, isn't it? Cut this line, give myself a zone to clear. Doesn't need a relief cut for this one, it's with the grain. Okay. Let me zoom out a bit. Oops, wrong way. Camera's upside down from my point of view. Questions. Sorry, excuse me. Things I should have said it before. Hi. camera down. All this fiddling around with the camera, I'm sorry, but whatever. We're going to clear this zone and then come back to the dots. And again, I think we've still got So let me take my mic off for a minute here. Take it away from the noise. Just a minute. Okay, let's get back close up. Excuse me, that looks organized. Where am I? Over here, camera. Just a minute, guys. Sorry. Just a moment. Thank you for your patience. Sorry. Cameraman, you're looking for me. Is that okay? And let's remember to put my microphone back on. Testing 1, 2, 3. What a bunch of fooling around. Sorry. Okay, we're back up and running. Zoom in a bit more, I think. Okay. What about the rolling around and around? If it's this grain direction, I've got to go with a different direction with the grain each time. So there's going to be a bit of spinning here while I get this stuff cleared off. So. I'd like to get that kind of bit deeper. Now that the stress is all gone, the waste wood is gone, I can put the knife in here and cut a tad deeper. There's no stress on the retained line. We picked up yesterday somewhere around here. Now I can clear it out with no risk to that line. Something checking in from Florida. I mean, the obvious question, you know, are you guys okay? Is it still alive, or how was it? Over there in America, you're getting all our typhoons. We've had almost nothing this year here on the mainland of Japan, and you guys are getting them all, I guess. We've had some bad years recently, but this year so far is all right. So far. Tornadoes. I can't laugh, I'm sorry, but whatever, just seeing this from a distance, you know, wow. against the grain. Did the sound die? Testing, testing. I think I'm okay. Let me check. Testing 1, 2, 3. My broadcaster software shows full sound. The mic is actually on my lapel instead of up on the wall. I think I'm okay at this end. A couple of people I see the Kickstarter mentioned in the thing there. And there's a bit of a special something coming up. There's so much going on at the same time here. We had a few people in the shop yesterday asking about it and whatever. We thought it would be fun, so we showed the Kickstarter video yesterday in the shop to these people. They're like, it was an instant reaction. So I've been afraid about this one, because Ukiyo-e Heroes has been around for 5 years. This is not a world-changing thing anymore. This is a fully mature thing. Ukiyo-e Heroes doesn't need kickstarting in the sense of, is this going to make it and will it survive and might there be support for it? It's a different kind of Kickstarter concept this time. So what I'm going to do is, because of that interest that was in the shop yesterday, today on my list of things to do, I'm going to make a clip of some of the points from the Kickstarter video. And I'm going to make I was studying my broadcaster software, and it allows me to drop in video clips. So I can show for you some prepared video clips. I studied how to do that last night. I know what to do. So today I'm going to prepare a video thing clipped from the Kickstarter video to show a bunch of you guys have been wonderful followers, wonderful fans. So what the heck? Who cares? One day in advance. So what we'll do, I'll show the thing, and maybe we'll have some questions and talk about what it is we're doing and why we're doing this and why Kickstarter and what do we need and that stuff like that. So I'm thinking about that for tomorrow, because it's, what is it now? We're a day and a half away, right? It's Monday morning for me, and the Kickstarter people have asked us to do this Tuesday night, for me, Japan time, which makes it Monday morning for Americans and stuff. And the big deal about this timing is that after many, many, many years of preparation, Kickstarter themselves are finally opening in Japan. They've had people from Japan on the platform before, but never based in Japan. For example, our campaign 5 years ago, it was Jed's campaign based in America, and this is all because of financial and tax reasons and stuff, and the way Kickstarter makes payments. They're opening up country by country, one by one, as they get the tax issues sorted out, and they haven't been able to take Japanese-based people. When I did my own campaign to open this shop 3 years ago, I wasn't allowed to do it on Kickstarter. So we did it on Kickstarter through my son-in-law, who lives in Canada. And some of you might remember you were part of that campaign. It was priced in Canadian dollars. The payments went to my son-in-law. He lost about 20% tax on it. It just went round and round and round, but there was no option because I couldn't start it in Japan because Kickstarter wasn't ready for it. Anyway, now they are. They've got the tax issues worked out. And it doesn't actually help us this time because our new campaign is actually Jed's campaign based in America anyway. But because we are fairly high profile and because, I'm here in Tokyo, the Kickstarter people asked us to hold back our campaign, which had been planned for a month ago, so that it could be featured by them as part of their big Japan opening. So we did. We said, sure, we'd like the extra exposure and we're willing to hold back a while, even though it starts getting into the way of Christmas and stuff like that. So yeah, so I have no idea what's happening tomorrow. Kickstarter is going to splash this thing all over the place, and there must be a whole bunch of other, perhaps very interesting campaigns opening at the same minute as ours. People who have interesting stuff going on here in Japan, Tokyo, and who have not been able to run Kickstarter campaigns. So there could be a whole bunch of really interesting things opened up. It's years and years of pent-up demand by creators in Japan who have not been able to use Kickstarter. People that didn't have the connection I had with someone like Jed, something like that. So it could be interesting to see what happens. Anyway, we're part of that. And as I said, I'm going to prepare a teaser video, not a teaser, a very substantial video, and I'll play it tomorrow during this Twitch stream. Because the reaction we got from the people in the shop yesterday was way more than I expected. I thought it was going to be ho-hum. Well, here we are, Ukiyo Heroes is evolving, and what have they done now? But the people in the shop were, one of them, he's like this, oh my God, where can I send my money? And like, wait, that's not what we were really thinking about, but Jed's been sweating this, we'll talk about it more tomorrow. Many things are happening at the same time here, 5 years of doing the same work, and there's a real plus and there's a real minus about some of that, Jed's own artistic development, his fear of getting stuck in a rut, his wonderful success of doing this, there's so many factors, plus and minus mixed together. It's been a bit difficult for him to navigate this, It's easy for me. All I got to do is make them. I don't have an identity problem here, who am I, what am I doing, why am I doing this? For us, it's clear. Jed's a young guy, and it's not clear for him who he is and stuff like that. So we'll talk about some of these things tomorrow. He may not want to participate because he doesn't like talking about himself and stuff, whatever. Rival campaign, I'm not sure what you mean. I know you mean just too many Kickstarter campaigns at the same time, fighting for your wallet, whatever. In the case of ours, please remember one thing, that when we do these campaigns and stuff like this, it's never, ever, ever a question of you got to do it now or it's your only chance. We don't do it that way. We sometimes get that from people, Dave, I'm sorry I missed your Kickstarter campaign 5 years ago. I really would have liked to get those prints. That's not how we do it. The campaign is there. It's showing people what's going on. The first one was, to test the financing. But the prints are always available. We haven't changed the price, so. And these things, and the new prints we show tomorrow, day after, don't sweat it. Please don't anybody think about, oh my God, I can't quite afford it, but I want these. Please don't do that to yourself. I intend to be doing this for a very, very long time to come. The first boss I ever worked for back at the music store, I was 22 or something, and it was a sheet music business. We sold music to schools and stuff like that. And parents of band kids would come in to get saxophones and stuff. He was a real nice guy, a really honest guy, took care of his employees well. The instruments were priced properly, they were high quality, they were fair. He was a super good guy. There was nothing evil about him. But there was one aspect to his character, and it was why he was the owner and I was an employee, because I didn't have this and he did. He was hungry to get people's business, you know. Fair enough, not evil in that sense. He wasn't so hungry that he did bad things. He was just hungry. And you'd get a case where people would, you know, sort of do window shopping. They'd come in the shop that we had and they'd look around at instruments, and sensibly enough, some would say, okay, I'm going to think about it, you know, might be back, whatever. And when he heard that, he jumped into aggressive mode and tried to do everything he could to get their business from them right there while they were standing there. And he used to tell us, you know, when he's sort of training us, look, guys, you got to understand. I think his expression was, come back, come back. So people say, I'll come back later. He said, comebacks don't equal greenbacks. His point being, whatever, out of the people who left to come back, some would come back and some wouldn't. And his point was, don't let him escape the shop. While, you know, grab him while you got him. And I'm like, Jesus, you know, do we have to be that hungry to empty people's wallets? You know, no, thank you. You know. But that's what I said. That's why he was the boss and I wasn't. You know. So anyway, we don't do it that way. You know. I don't care about that stuff. You know. Of course, we're making things. Of course, we have to have a certain level of the sales. You know, people buying things. If they don't, the thing doesn't work. But if we ever get so hungry that we start to get aggressive in doing that, then you should just take me out back and shoot me, you know, because that's not what we're here for. He was a good guy, though. My God, he was a good guy, you know. He's gone now, long gone now. The day he hired me, he didn't want to hire me. It was a favor. I was a stupid little shy geek, messy hair, messy clothes, couldn't look somebody in the eye. I was just socially zero, you know. What's this thing they talk about, like IQs and EQs and stuff? I got the IQ, that's okay, but I had zero EQ. I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't even look the guy in the face during the interview. He didn't want to hire me. He told me this clearly later, you know. And the reason he did was because my dad had asked a friend of his who had asked this guy, a friend of his, for a favor, you know. And he was tight he needed staff. He needed, you know, warehouse employees and stuff because it was a new business. You know, he took me on. Totally base salary of next to nothing, you know. This was 1972 or something. I think it was like $120 a month or something. I don't remember the number. Like, if I used 80% of my salary for my rent, that was that. And, you know, anyway, it didn't matter. I had a job. So. And whatever, there's a bunch of stories about it. It turned out well. I know it turned out that I could do the job well. As I said, the IQ is there, and I could do the job well. And days go by. I'm doing the job, having fun. He's enjoying me, clearly. He's all right. You know, I'm a member of the team. Things go well. And I'm like just freaking starving to death. Me and my girlfriend have an apartment that takes 80% of the money and whatever. So at some point, I guess I started there in September or October. And Christmas had been difficult. So sometime it must have been, I don't know, February or something. My girlfriend, she was much more, I don't know, aware, socially aware. She was really a sharp young woman. At some point, she wasn't a whiner or a nagger, but at some point she must have said, Dave, you have got to go and talk to Bill. You're doing wonderful work. Look at this. You're doing this. You're doing that. And he's still paying you like a garbage man or something. She says, you've got to go and talk to him. And I'm like, well, no, he's a good guy. He's going to take care of me. It's all right. You know, we can't go and ask, I need money. She said, get in there and talk to the guy. So whatever, I go in there one morning and said, Bill, can I, I'm just probably just sweating, shitting bricks, whatever. Bill, can I talk to you for a minute? And I whatever, I know exactly what happened. He says, sure, come on in, sit down. He must have sat down behind his desk and put on a serious face or whatever. And he knows exactly what's going on. And I'm stumbling. I don't remember what words I said. This is so many years ago, but whatever. I stumbled around, and I guess I basically said, Bill, can I possibly ask for a bit more money? And the guy just cracks out laughing. He says, Jesus, do you know, like since the second day you were here, I've been waiting for this. What took you so fucking long, And we laughed about it. In later years, we really became friends, and we chatted about a lot of these stories in later years, because I worked there off and on for 10 years. And he, whenever this story would come up, he says, it was the test. I couldn't just give you money. You had to be, aware enough and socially apt enough and ability to talk to me. You had to come and ask for it. That was part of, not part of the training, but, if you were man enough to come and ask for it, you deserved it. If you weren't man enough to come and ask for it, then hell, you didn't deserve it, And I get his point. And what he did was he gave me the raise to something sensible. And again, I don't remember the numbers. It probably doubled or something to $250 a month or whatever it was that made sense in 1972. And he said, is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything else you want to ask while we're here about this? And I'm like trying to learn this lesson that we had just had, that, he's expecting me to be a bit more assertive and aggressive, And I sort of failed again. I didn't get what he was getting at. And I said, no, I think, Bill, this really helps us. We're really going to be happy. It helps us get some food and stuff, Thank you very much. And he sort of sighed and said, shit, you still don't get it, do you, And I'm like totally puzzled what's going on. He says, okay, at this point you're supposed to ask me, Bill, can we backdate this, And I would never, ever, ever in 1,000 years have thought of that, but he did. He backdated the raise to the day that I started. So we got a check for like 6 months of prorated or backdated pay. Because he was an honest, straight-ahead man, but you had to play the game his way, and fair enough. I don't remember how that got started. I'm sorry about that. Whatever. Yeah, he was. He was a solid dude. He was a really good man. Kind of aggressive, and he had ended up in the right place. In his younger days, he'd worked for selling used cars, and he'd worked for a major, soap company, selling soap to grocery stores and stuff. Really, both of them super difficult, high-pressure sales tactics. So maybe that's part of that stuff got beat into him. And he told us later he just couldn't stand. He liked the aggressive part of those things. It was his character. But he said, man, they just screwed people left and right, And he didn't want to be part of businesses that were so grotesquely dishonest. So. It's all gone now, He built it. I left. Other people came and left over the years. If it hadn't been for a quirk of fate, I could still have been there, I ended up as general manager. He was sort of the kaicho, the president, the owner, running all the finance from a little office, and I took over the main corner desk. I was a general manager. There's an interesting story about that later on, but whatever. But the problem was he had a son, 2 or 3 years younger than me. And that son and I didn't get along. And it was clear to me that at some point, as Bill got older, as the son got older and more power, my future there was going to be pretty bleak. I was going to get the chop, obviously. As soon as the son took over, that was it. I'd be gone. So we just really didn't like each other. So with that hanging over my head, that helped make the decision to what should I do with my life, and how about Japan, and something might be interesting. So that was a major factor. People talk about, Dave, you had so much courage to quit the good job and come to Japan with 2 little kids. And yeah, maybe that's the case, but there was also the aspect that the clock was ticking. And that good little job didn't have a whole lot of future in it. So that made things easier. The business is gone now. The son took it over. And while his dad was alive, it went on and went on and went on. And then within weeks of his dad dying, he sold it. And it's now gone. The company that bought it promised they'd keep the name. They'd promised they'd keep it running. And that lasted like, whatever, 15 minutes. And it's all gone. Everything we built all those years disappeared. These are big fat dots in this area. You can really get good taste and character. And when they're little tiny dots, it's a dot, obviously, you know. But these ones, look at this, I can curve around the side of that. Put a flat face on that part of it. This one scoops in, so I get a concave curve on the face of that. So they all have a little bit different shape and character. It's much more pleasant to carve them this way. It's not just a question of survival, get something on the paper at that point. This actually has meaning. So, meaning, whatever. Does a dot have meaning? I'm sorry. Yeah, what's going to happen with us? My own children, the next generation here. This is the same thing rolls around and again. I have two daughters. They both live in Canada. They have successful businesses of their own. They are not the slightest bit interested in woodblock printmaking, nor have I ever expected that they would be. But what they did both do is they copied me in one sense. I didn't speak to them about this or train them about this or tell them what you should do with your life. I didn't do anything about that. One didn't go to college, one did go to college. They followed different paths about having babies and stuff like that. But they have both. And they've both told me that they did this because they saw my life. They have both done things where they could make things at home and market them, get them out into the world through the internet. In other words, they have never gone out and been an employee somewhere working for somebody else. They found it really important in life that they had a dad who actually was at home all the time, all through their growing up. From the time they were born till the time they grew up to go to school in Canada, living with their mother, high school. All those intervening years, the 12, 13 years, I was here at home every day of their lives. I was their mother was here some years, but after their mother left when they were little kids, their mother left when they were, 4 and 6 or something. So I brought them up, and I was here every single day for them. Because I worked at home, carving and printing. And they, as they grew up themselves, they remembered this and felt the family touch. And they both said the same thing. They tried to make a life for themselves where they would be able to do the same thing. Work in an environment where they weren't told to go out to work or what time, whatever. They could be with family. They saw it was possible. And that's what they've done. My older daughter works at home making jewelry. And the younger daughter, who doesn't have kids yet, he's built herself a corporation, a company. So she actually does go to an office job. But her idea is to build it up to a point where she doesn't have to be in the office every day by the time it comes for her to make kids. So, make kids, do kids, whatever that. Anyway, the point, they're not going to be interested in this. They're not going to take over from me. So. And of course, we think about that here. I'm 65. I'm not leaving tomorrow, but I am leaving at some point. So what do? We now have, I don't know how many employees, because Ahimi-san's, no longer accountable, so I don't know, 19 or 18 or 19 or 20 people, depending how we count it. And it's an ongoing thing. It's jobs for people here. And if I decided to pack it up, or if it collapsed because I was not here, there's 20 jobs gone. So current thinking, this is not in stone. The current thinking is that, I should back up a step. What I was thinking was, okay, we turn it into a company, and we distribute the shares among the employees. Make it one of these employee-owned corporations, whatever. It turns out that in Japan that's not a thing. It's theoretically possible, but only really theoretically. It's just not something that's practical. I think in America it's quite easy, and maybe in many European countries it's easy to do. It's not a thing here in Japan. And also, I got total blowback from the employees. They don't want to do that. They don't want to feel themselves as owners. It's a different mood and a different culture and a different environment. And when you're an employee here, you have your status and your feeling of who you are and what you are, and it fits. And they are quite emotionally happy being employees. It's the thing, you join that company and it's your... So anyway, employee-owned one doesn't work. So the current thinking now, we've been investigating this, is that we're going to perhaps become a foundation. And I knew nothing about this before I started investigating last year. Me and Lee-san have been investigating it. And it turns out, and remember this is still a layman's knowledge here, there's things I don't know about the details. It turns out that a foundation, for the most part, isn't actually owned by anybody. When you set up a company, you have shares, and who owns the shares? And they're either on a stock market, and the shares are owned by, the shareholders, or the shares are held by, individuals. But a foundation doesn't work like that. It's not actually owned by anybody. It has to have managers, it has to have employees, it has to have, it's got capital and whatever, everything else. But it doesn't have shares, it doesn't pay dividends. And if we did start this up, I would give my stuff to the foundation. I would give them the blocks. We set the foundation up as a legal entity, and it would become the owner of the blocks. I would give the blocks to the foundation. It would then own them, and it would need managers. It could have a board of directors, manager, whatever you call these things, a CEO and stuff like that. But it doesn't need to be owned. And the day David gets hit by a bus or dies, or from whatever reason, whatever, it doesn't matter. The thing just keeps going. So it doesn't depend on whether my daughters want to do this or not. They still have the problem of management. Who's going to run it? Who's going to be the power structure of the board of directors and stuff. But that's going to be there anyway. So our current thinking is this. So the Mokuhankan Foundation for the, I was going to say preservation of woodblock prints. No, because that's not our motto. Whatever, Mokuhankan Woodblock Print Foundation or something. And it's not an NPO. That's another complication. Some foundations are. They're non-profit for the purpose of saving children in Africa or whatever, all that sort of stuff. That's a different question. There can be foundations that actually make things and do things like we do. And there can be foundations that are for charitable purposes. And in Japan, there's a really strict difference. And if you're a charitable type foundation, man, oh man, it's strict because they really want to make sure you're not screwing around. So we wouldn't do that. It's far too strict for us. And we're sometimes profitable, which wouldn't match with that. And this might happen as early as next spring. I don't know. I would have said that a week ago, but now with the Lonely Planet news, I'm not so sure about that anymore. So we'll see. Might have to scale back our aggressive plan for world domination of the woodblock printmaking. Lonely Planet. God. Win some, lose some. That's all you can say. We're still in. We found out, by the way, we're still in the main Japan guide. We were in 3 of the Lonely Planet books last year. The main Japan guide, the big fat thing about 2 inches thick, 3 centimeters thick. I'm sorry. We're still in there with an unchanged listing. Come to Mokuhankan, make a print party, Ukiyo Heroes, blah blah blah. And the Tokyo book, we're going to get a copy of it tomorrow afternoon. It's on the way from Amazon. We may be in there or may not be, I don't know. But the one we found we were cut from is the Tokyo Pocket Guide, which is the one we really see every day. We see people come up the stairs with this in their hand. And we were highlighted on the Asakusa pages and we were dropped. But it's not that Lonely Planet has killed us entirely. We're still in their database and we're still in the Japan Guide. As I said, we may be in the main Tokyo Guide too. I don't know. I'll find out today. So I think this is not some executive decision to get rid of us. It's simply the people doing the final layout of that page. Somebody made a decision to put the big photograph in. And once that decision was made, other stuff had to go. And the fickle finger of fate punched us out. What's next? Where am I now? This is obviously a candidate corner here. These lines are both cut, I think. Yes, that's cut. Oh, the map. Hey, I put my pin on the map, you know. Thank you for doing that. Mods. I haven't set up a mod yet. I don't know how to do that. Okay, I'll try and investigate that this afternoon so I can give mod power to somebody there. Excuse me. Or if it's quick and simple, somebody throw me an email letting me know how to do it. I'll do it just right now if I can. Geez, it's sweaty, stinky here already, you know, in Tokyo. It's going to be another killer today. We had some nice chilly days last week, but of course that's not the end of it. I'm already sweating. Just got out of the shower before starting this stream. How's our time? No problem. Oops, lost track of where I am. Okay. Let's clear some of this outside here. Spin, spin. Sorry about that. I've got to spin for this clearing because each angle of attack is different, you know, coming at each one. Oh, we have an official, actual question there. Glasses. Twitch questions. Oh, it's about the mod information. Okay. I'll study that up so I know what to do. Thank you. All right, that's done. These big eyes staring at me while I do this. This guy's starting to feel alive. This design is so cool, you know. Hopefully it's so cool, you know. It's hard to remember, you know, it's been years since I first saw it, but I just feel, I remember my general reaction. It was when you turn the page and you see this thing for the first time, it's just like a, holy shit, you know, whatever. It's just so good at what it's trying to do, you know, just so perfect. He did the Great Wave, and there's something you could describe it the same way, you know. Oh my God, there, you know, it's just whatever it is he's trying to do with the image, and you can talk and analyze and think about the different reasons and all that stuff. Whatever it is he's trying to do, he just did it so well. The Great Wave image, and then this one as well, you know. There's a reason why we still remember his name, because he was just so good at it. There's more. He's got lots of stuff, you know, a lifetime of designing and drawing. So. I'm really, really looking forward to getting this one out into the world. You know, it's going to have its complications because of the subject matter. And we're not going to be able to splash it all across the front of our website like we do with the Great Wave, but it's going to be there. People will hear about it. I'm really happy to be getting it out there. To my knowledge, I've never, ever, ever seen a reproduction of it, and I don't know why. There's lots of, during most of the 20th century, this stuff wasn't sort of, quote, permitted, unquote, in Japan. And when books were published reproducing the erotic prints, they were, in the era when I first came to Japan, they were all blocked out. You know, it was fuzzied out, all the difficult areas. That's no longer needed, and there are now normal books published, available in a normal bookstore here in Japan, reproducing the old erotic prints. It's recognized as being artistic. I mean, hell, over in the manga section, there's wild porn with little girls, so this is nothing. But Japan has finally sort of shaken off the shame of this, that's been around for a number of years. Now, you won't find the emperor and his family going to an exhibition of this stuff because there's limits, but anyway, it's still here. There was a shunga erotic print exhibition a couple of years ago, and it was well attended, well publicized. The shame is gone now, so we're really happy to be, as far as I know, the first reproduction of this, you know. And we're doing it nicely, we're doing it carefully, properly. This is not a slap together job. This is going to be a nice print when we're finished. We've chatted, I think, in some of these earlier streams a month ago or so when I started a few weeks ago about what we're going to be doing with it. The original print was a book page, left and right book pages. We're, of course, making it as a single print. I'm slightly enlarging it from the book pages because it was just too small to have impact. It had impact when you turned the pages of a book, but when you see it as a single sheet, we need a bit more impact. We're not going to make it as large as the version they used for that TV show, The Mad Men. A couple of years ago, they used this image in one of their stories. A guy had a large framed version of it on the wall. I don't know the characters' names, I'm sorry. And at some point in the story, he took it off the wall and gave it to one of the women in the story. And she walks down the hallway with it under her arm. And that was a greatly, greatly enlarged version of this thing. So if you only know this print, this image through the Mad Men version, please don't be disappointed when you see ours. Ours is much smaller than that. But ours is a bit bigger than the original, you know. Whatever, when we get closer, we'll have, you know, information on the website. And as I said, the original version had text all over the background. It was a book, and there was a story episode there. It's difficult to read these days. It doesn't have much meaning. So I'm going to do two versions of this print with text and without. So the original version had the text carved on. This block, the one you see me doing now, the line block, also had the text. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to carve the text on a separate block so that we can print the thing with and without text. I suspect most people just won't want it. It's illegible, it's messy, it doesn't bring much to the table. We will, of course, be including with the print a translation into modern Japanese and in English, as close as we can get to what that says. I better do a stress cut on this one. It's across the grain all the way, so let's stress relieve this one first. Again, explaining things again, people might not know what's going on here. I'm going to cut that line in a minute, but before I do, I'm going to cut what we call stibori, throwaway cut, outside, so that now, when I dig the knife in, now to start the real cut, the wood, look at this, the wood is moving, the waste wood is moving, and there's very little stress on the wood that is staying. But if I don't make that stress cut, the knife just goes in and the wood on both sides is pushed aside. So how many times I chipped these lines because I didn't figure that out, you know. It's also a bit fat. I gotta trim that down a bit. Let's see. Let's get off the end of it first. Too much talk, I can't follow, I'm sorry. I'll read it later. What's this? The most people we've had. That's a bit concerning to me too. People have just come on for the first time. Do they know what's going on? Do they know what we're doing? Do they know what's happening here? Like, what is this? If there are people who don't know what's going on my Twitch channel, is that what it's called? Maybe on a computer version below this video, there are a few links and a few panels that explain what this is, what I'm doing, who I am, what this is all about. And if you have no idea, what you're seeing is the carving of a key block to making a Japanese print. This will be used as a printing block to make a visual image. Very, very slow process, but the results well worth it. Again, the areas that you see in black on the paper in front of me are the areas that are being retained, and they're the parts that will print the image. So I'm taking away all the surrounding areas so that they don't get inked. And once it's done, ink will go on all the original areas. You know, this eye, these dots will pick up the ink. That'll get transferred to the paper, and the resulting print will look just like the image you see here. Questions? 2 questions. Okay, 2 questions. One's about what we're going to be doing, selling it, how much this is going to be and stuff like that. I don't know. I know, I'm not being coy, I don't know. It's not a complicated print to make. I know the carving will be a sunk cost, and printing will be relatively simple. This will not be as expensive as our Great Wave print, I think. The Great Wave's $135. It's eight printings, but the printing is much more difficult than what will be on this, so I've got to pay the printers to compensate for that. This will not be that expensive, so at the moment, that's all I can say. I'm sorry, you know. The other thing too is that we're going to do it in different versions. The simplest way will be, it'll be a flat print available. You know, we print the colors on it, out it goes in a good strong package. And we've learned that, you know, some people will frame this and put it up, and some people, it's not the image that you want to have on your living room wall all day long. You know, like when your mother comes to visit, what are you going to do and stuff like that, whatever. So we're going to be looking into doing it as a flat print and as a mounted print in scroll format. And to do that, we'll be ordering special thin paper, or special, we'll talk about it later, special separable paper. Thick paper that we print as normally. Then when it's finished, we tear off the back half of the paper to leave it in a very thin form. That goes to a scroll mounter, who then mounts it as a traditional scroll. And it has to be thin paper so it'll roll up without creasing. We've done that before. I made a scroll years ago, a large picture of a courtesan. And that'll be more because it has to go to the scroll company to be mounted, and the scroll cost will be as much or more than the print cost, but whatever. But no, this is not going to be grotesquely expensive, you know. I forgot the second question. There was 2. forgot. I'm sorry. That's it. 1 minute is all I can keep something in mind for. 65 years old, already. Wood. Someone's asking, I've been complaining about the quality of the wood. Our other carvers here also complaining about the quality of the wood. There's only one I'm in contact with, Asaka-san. The guy who's carving it at this level and who cares about the work. And he, of course, he's in the same situation as me. He's bitter about what's happening. And he's part of our what's the word? He's in with us on trying to work to figure out another solution. So one guy, the other quality carver is, and I think I don't have much day-to-day contact with the other people working here these days. In the early times when I came to Japan, I spent, time trying to find craftsmen, trying to talk to craftsmen. You've seen some of the TV shows, things like that. These days I have pretty much zero contact with those people. Things have become much, much more difficult. We now here run our own workshop. We're running things at a very high level. We care about this. Those guys, for the most part, are not their own publisher. Work comes to them from publishers who are trying to keep costs down, who are trying to whatever. They've just, over the years, they've gone for the bottom of the barrel. So the craftsmen who don't have any say in this sort of stuff and who themselves couldn't care less anyway, it's no big deal. Whatever comes to their desk, yeah, whatever, carve it. If they're only paying X yen, just give them X job. So they couldn't care less, most of them. They've had the feeling through all the 20th century, since they were born, since before they joined this craft, it's been in the air, this will all be over soon. Shogunai, it's finished soon. So they've got a totally fatalistic attitude towards this. And it's not wrong. They were born to this, that it's all over soon and it's going to die. So who gives a shit? And because I'm lucky because I came in from outside and didn't buy into that attitude, we're a little bit different. So what do the other craftsmen think about this? I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't have any communication with them. As far as I understand their mood and their feeling and their thoughts about the job, they could care less. Their feeling would be that as long as it lasts until they retire, as long as they're safe, whatever. But I shouldn't speak for other people too much. I'm sorry. I should either shut up or I should try and find that page. There was a an original print made of a design about the Hatsune Miku character, the Vocaloid character. After Jed and I showed this idea that you could mix pop culture with ukiyo-e, every publisher in town tried to jump on it. You've seen the Star Wars prints and everything else, high-cost limited edition junk, whatever. One publisher did. It'd be about a year ago now, or a year and a half ago. They did a limited edition of 100 of a design that somebody sketched up of the Vocaloid character Hatsune Miku. And there was a web page for sale, and they did an English web page for sale too. And actually, it's probably still there. I can't find it right now. I'll look it up. And it had the order form, limited edition, only 100 copies. And it was the equivalent of $500. And they showed a few scans of the first test proof. They hadn't made the actual edition at this point, but they had the first test prints. And we blogged about this, and they put a comment in red letters just above the point where you do the click to buy here. And I'm paraphrasing, I don't have it in front of me, but it said, please understand these are handmade objects and they will differ one by one. That makes us gag right away because our goal is to make them all as close to the original as possible. And it said something like, you will see variations in color and there will be misregistrations. Please understand this is all part of the tanoshimi. This is part of what makes woodblock prints interesting and enjoyable. And at that point, that's where we just barf on the floor. Taking your worst mistakes and promoting it to potential customers as a feature. And showing a picture of a print that's misregistered and trying to make people think this is a feature. I mean, give me a break. I'll try and find the page. No, I can't do it right now, but if somebody remind me about this tomorrow or something, I'll have the link ready. And what makes it even worse is they sold 100 copies, a bunch of which appeared on Yahoo Auctions a few minutes later at much higher prices. I don't know if they sold or not. So what happens a few months later? The same print comes up, second edition, 100 copies, limited edition, $500 each. They ran around it all over again. So what's the freaking point of trying to convince people that you own only 99? I don't want to talk about this. So yeah, we don't have a whole lot of communication with other craftsmen and publishers these days. Dots, dots, and more dots. People waiting for the door to open? Come on, 9:20. It's who's in today? It's Monday. So Kawai-san's here and Doi-san is here, the older gentleman who used to work for Kirin Beer Company. Doi-san will probably be here first, 9:18. The reason they're so punctual, you're thinking perhaps that people are, oh my God, these Japanese staff are so punctual and stuff. Remember, people are coming by train, they're commuting. You know how the Japanese train system works, right? If it's supposed to be there at 9:21, it's there at 9:21. So people who are commuting by train, of course they arrive at work at the same time. It's very, very rare for the train system to break down. So what you're seeing is not Kawai-san being punctual. You're seeing JR at work. Whatever, it's all the same part and parcel of the same package. But if somebody's driving to work in LA or something, they got to handle the freeway and what time they get to the company parking lot. It's not going to be to the minute, I guess, obviously. I suppose, I don't know. But here in Japan, if you come to work by train, you're going to show up at this door within seconds of the same time each day. And you're on a train, you sit across the seat from the same person you see because they're all doing the same thing, and they all sit in the same carriage and go up the same doorway and get on the same flight of stairs, I see lots of links and stuff. 9:23. This will be Doi-san first, I think. Is that the way it works on Mondays? Or Kirin Man first? I'm not sure. Let's see if I'm right. Doi-san's a real nice guy. He's the one I was telling you about. He used to work for Kirin Beer, and he got posted to Hawaii for 10 years as a beer salesman. Beer salesman in Hawaii for 10 years. And all his other compatriots were back at work in Japan as a Japanese salaryman. I mean, talk about a lucky break. He's a real nice guy. it's kawaii-san. Heavy footsteps. More footsteps. That will be Doi-san. Which one's first? There's 2 printers coming in today, 2 to work upstairs. Oh, it is Doi-san. I was right. So, you're first today. Morning. All ready for a sweaty day today?
Oh, yeah.
Just like your days back in Hawaii? All right, now that we're getting close to the end of this, let's recap a couple of things. Today's Monday. Oh, it's Tuesday. Shoot. I want to do a Kickstarter session. I think I got myself in a jam. I'm promising you that video for tomorrow, but tomorrow's Tuesday. I'm in Ome tomorrow. Yeah. Let me think about this. What am I going to do about this now? Okay, let's do this. Tomorrow's session as normal. It's Tuesday. I'll be here. I'll do a session, a short one, maybe 1 hour. We'll start at the normal time, 1 hour. I'll do some carving, and I'll do a... Good morning, Kai-san. And I'll do something about the Kickstarter presentation I was going to tell you about. And then I'll shut it down and run for Ome and spend the afternoon in Ome. Trying to make up a plan as I go here. Tomorrow evening, there will be absolutely no session tomorrow evening, Tuesday evening. Absolutely not. There will be a session Monday evening, tonight here. So maybe I should do the same thing. I should do a bit of a Kickstarter thing tonight too for the people who are at the other end of the planet. I think that's the plan. Check our Kickstarter page to see what's actually happening. Tomorrow's Tuesday, the Kickstarter thing. It's all happening on the same day I'm not here. Okay, let's zoom out. Give the new viewers a chance to see what's going on. Here we are. There's the image. I've still got a patch on it because we're trying to keep, sort of family friendly at the moment. But at some point I'm going to have to pull this off and get carving. The seaweed areas, the rocks are done. All the tentacles are done. For the past 2 days now, I've been working on Mr. Octopus here. Tonight I'll be doing this and this. I guess we'll clean out some open parts on her body. Then next I think will be, I'll do the small octopus next. I'm not quite sure how this is going to move forward. Alright, I'm sorry about the confusion on the schedule. I'll try and keep the Facebook page updated with what's actually going to go on. But if I can do it, I'll stick to what I said. A session tonight, then a short session tomorrow morning. Thanks for putting up with the rambling here and what's going on. And I'm going to sign off and get to work here, make some video stuff. And I'll see you next time. Thank you.